Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Mental Health Awareness Initiative. Today, we have a wonderful guest from Bahrain, Mrs Aneesa Moidoo. She is a practicing psychotherapist and a counseling psychologist. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you, Miss Hina. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks a lot. How about you?
Not bad. Everything is okay.
Okay. And if you could just share as to what type of work you are doing in mental health space with our listeners.
Yeah, I can share a little bit. I work with adults, and yeah, with adults, parents, and kids as well, above 10, and related to uh, my specialty, I do counseling on trauma based counseling and for attachment issues, relationship issues, and for personality disorders. These are my area of interest, and I work there a lot more. So, and also anxiety related issues. Yeah.
Okay. Since you are into dealing with the adults and kids, so how do you see the scenario of mental health in your area?
It is. It was right now due to the. Are you asking right now due to this whole situation, or?
Due to this current situation?
Yeah. Right now, I would say it's people are kind of adjusted to the situation. It was very deteriorating back then, like last year. But now people are coping up a bit, and I can see a bit of differences in the style, because once it was there, once the outbreak happened, it was a lot worse than now. So I could see that people are adjusting to it, which is nice, and adopting to the new norms and the new rules, restrictions, and everything. But still, they are living, they are trying to live their life even in the midst of all this, crisis.
Absolutely. And it's nice to hear that things are little settling.
Mm.
And but in all this pandemic and in all this upheaval, how do you think has the toll taken on the caregivers?
Um, that is really sad, actually, because the family caregivers. That's why this topic is really really very important. I feel, because the term family caregiver itself is someone who provides unpaid care to a spouse, parent, child, or other relative, partner or friend who has a chronic illness or disability. So it can be, defined broadly. It can include also individuals that need care, or the friends who are left alone, or neighbors, especially in the situation when we are living far away. There will not be people who can really support, but at the same time, some people, some individuals, they do take interest to take care of these people, and then it's really difficult. But at the same time, family caregivers, like the real caregivers, has a very negative effect on this pandemic. This is happening mainly because the extra precautionary care that we take right now due to this pandemic is a lot of effort. I mean, a lot of effort for the caregivers, because they have to care themselves. They have to care themselves, and they have to care about the care recipients that they're bound to. So it is very easy that the caregivers can feel exhausted, because these people, the care recipient, are always high at risk category. So it's so easy for these people to for the caregivers to be exhausted under going through this stress for a prolonged time. So we know it's been it's it's coming across the second year now. So we can see that the pressure on them is like overwhelming, and they really don't know what to do about it. And some people even feel inadequate of doing, they feel like they are not doing enough as they once did, or they may feel like what is happening with me, why am I not interested in this, why am I not feeling motivated. Some feel helpless, entrapment, and all these things happen with the caregivers, because these are the group of people who are often being overlooked or taken granted, kind of,
Mhm.
so as a result of all these things, all these happenings, they eventually come up with traits of depression. It actually takes a very a toll on their mental health. They come up with depression, anxiety, abdominal issue, like physical symptoms, like abdominal issues, pain, and also a sleep in inappropriate sleep or sleep disturbances. These things really is happening, but they are not aware of what is happening to them, because this is been they have been taking care of people, members in the family for a while. But the current situation, they doesn't know the current situation is being affecting them mentally or physically. They are being drained. So when we explore their feelings, they say that they have no energy to do what they were doing, and there is no motivation. And like, what's happening with me, or why am I like this? I wasn't like this. So we can, when we see their feelings, we can really feel sad about it. And when it comes to the people that they are taking care of, they are also upset, and they're also kind of not satisfied with these people who are taking care of them, because they are exhausted, they are burned out. And of course, when a person who is burnt out doesn't have any energy to do anything, that is going to reflect on the people who they are taking care of, right?
Absolutely.
So it is actually taking a toll on the sick people as well, when they are not being able to realize what's happening with them. And also the increased limitations and restrictions on the caregiver. They cannot go out, or they cannot there we already, the caregivers has a lot of restrictions, and they are kind of settled with that. It's an icing to the icing to the cake, that we can say the restriction, over restriction has come up right now, so with this pandemic. So they are emotionally and physically, like, to provide the services to the care, to the people, to the caretakers itself, is being very difficult for them. And on top of that, as I said, the lifestyle adjustments out of choice, like in pressure, has increased their worry, fear, and apprehensions and everything. So yeah, so that is what I feel about the family caregivers.
Tell me, ma'am, that are there any categories of caregivers?
There are now we are speaking of, now we are discussing about the family caregivers, the people who are sick, or that from that group of people. But there are also caregivers, like the biggest caregiver on earth is mothers, right? The parents. So they are also getting exhausted with the overwhelming workload that they have. The mothers has to be, without any training, all of a sudden has to be teachers, and they has to contain the children. We are not prepared for keeping the children after 5 years old at home, right? So they have to keep their children at home the whole day, and they have to put pressure on them for each and everything. That's kind of overwhelming for them as well. So they are also one sort of caregivers that is being under pressure. And also there is another caregiver, financial caregivers who earns. And I know, I had a patient before who had three siblings, and one of them stayed with the mom, and he was the earning member in the family. And as there was no one to take care of the mother, he employed a helper, and then he kept a helper to be with the mother. So what happened is that when this pandemic outbreak occurred, he lost his job. He was a bit shaky due to, like in the beginning itself, but he was kind of managing it. But as he expected, the whole scenario, he lost the job. And when he lost the job, automatically, he couldn't pay all his bills, the whole things that was running around, and the maids thing, and everything went upside down. And he had to do all the chores for his mother, like all the things for his mother, without which is very, very new for him, and with all the financial struggles. So that was kind of, even to hear that story for us is really overwhelming, and it's kind of very touching. Another kind of another group of caregivers are our professional frontline workers, health workers. Even though they are trained and they go to this profession by with interest, but still this situation is overwhelming them, because they are not prepared for this much, to see this much or to experience this much. So what happens, what if we can see in every social media and everywhere, there are frontline workers, there's health workers, social workers. They do say to, to abide by, to adhere to all these this precautionary measures, safety precautionary measures. It's because it's their desperateness that they are enough of seeing this. So please be, they're speaking about that. It's not about only the safety, but they are tired of seeing people dying in front of them, and people, being sick in front of them, right? And just watch it with helplessly. So they are also kind of very exhausted group of caregivers right now.
That is really nice. Like you have categorized it so that we can understand it in more simple way. That
Mm-hmm.
yes, the family caregivers, the mothers, the financial caregivers, the frontline workers, the health workers, the social workers, even the volunteers that are there on ground, they all
Yeah.
are doing or experiencing a lot of helplessness also due to the fact that they are watching in front of them. People are just dying or experiencing so much of trauma, let's say, pain.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just wanted whoever listens, I don't know, but I just wanted to just give an information or pass a message that during this crisis, family caregivers, or which all categories they belong to, should receive an increased understanding. They should get a good support and assistance. They have to reach out. They have to reach out for help and interventions. As there is, as there was another study also, that there are these people, because of their exhaustion and their state of mind and physique, they're not even taking care of themselves. I mean, they're not taking about their physical health, they're not taking about their emotional, which is a dangerous situation to deal with after some time. They should they should think about something, like they can often think about something that they can take a break or something, even though in the midst of all this chaos, take a few minutes for themselves, couple of times in a week, or sit and relax, just have a coffee, just a half an hour, or 15 minutes will do. But that break would give them and the caregivers and the caretakers a better effect.
That is a nice suggestion, and I hope they do follow. Though it will
Mm,
be very difficult for them because the the intake of patients, or let's say the demand of the caretakers,
mm,
is on a rise right now.
It's true. Yeah, I do understand
But
that, but yeah, somewhere will be hopeful, right?
definitely, and believe in it.
Yeah.
Uh,
One more thing I wanted to add to this intervention, how can the caregivers feel better, is that it is obviously the social support is an essential factor, and it has its own role. So the people around the family caregiver or the person who is sick if they can check up on them on the caregiver, and have a frequent, or calls, or kind of knowing how things goes, and basically inquiring how are things, would increase the support and in energy for the caregivers to take care of their caretakers. And also, if there are people who can take shifts or turns, so that the person who looks after the person more would give a break for that person to bounce back and with full energy, and take care of this caretaker more effectively and more pleasantly.
That is a nice tip because taking turns and even making call to those in need can be a very big relief and a de-stress part.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you have said, yes, sharing is very important.
Mm-hmm.
It is a form of caring also.
Yeah.
And did you experience anything very challenging in the last year? And if so, how did you cope?
um, of course, there, as every human being in this planet since last year, had their own ways, their own challenges. So one of my challenge was, there was a lot of challenges, but one of my challenge was me being far from my parents. So it's just my mom. So and as we all lost, a lot of loved ones in our circle, my mom and we all lost some people who are very close and dear to us. So unfortunately, the people who has passed away are my mom's inner circle, kind of support. So it was really hard for us to contain her, and by being far away, we are, because of the travel restrictions, again we couldn't go back, or she couldn't come to us. So it was really challenging for us to, even though there are these forms of communications and interactions, sometimes physical is physical, right? um, so it was, we had to really support her to come through it. We really struggled with that.
Sorry for your loss, and I'm sure it must have been a very tough time.
Yes, it was very challenging, because she lived alone, and she is living alone, and it's just we who go for the vacation. That's only her solace. So even that didn't happen last year. So and on top of that, all these mishaps. So it was really challenging.
And before we wind up, a last thing that you would like our listeners to keep in mind?
um we are not prepared for this, the whole situation. So whatever we go through right now, whatever feelings or whatever thoughts, emotions we go through right now, we can embrace it, or we should embrace it. We should accept it. um, accept what we are feeling, and we have to say that it's we have to accept it, that it's real and normal. So when you accept that, you don't feel the game of guilt, or you're not being functional, or such random unwanted thoughts wouldn't hit you, first thing. And the second thing is that if you could set a daily routine in the sense, whatever go through a day, let it go, but let it pass by however it wants to pass by. But end of the day, or somewhere in between the day, if you could spend a little time, a very small time for yourself, I mean, just have a peaceful, just 10 to 15 minutes, a cup of coffee, and you can sit in front of the TV or whatever. If you want to browse something, or if you want to listen to something, or it's basically, or even if you don't have anything, or if you're not feeling to do anything, even that's fine. But sitting for a little time and spending time for yourself makes a lot of difference on the long run.
Thanks a lot, and thank you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
accepting the invitation.
Thank you, dear. That's my pleasure. Thank you for calling me in.
With that positive note, we end the episode. Hope to see you all again. Till then, take care and be safe. Bye.
Bye.